Hello everyone. How are all y'all doing? Now I'm dressed goth because you guys have me dressed goth for Darkest Dungeon tonight. Even got a little special earring in my ear over here that you guys found fascinating. But in the meantime, we are here today to review the T-14 Armata. As you can see, I've played this thing enough to get rank 3 crews. Didn't take long. And we are going to be taking a look at what this vehicle is capable of. Now, I'm going to preference this with stating this. This thing is not cheap. It cost me 68 million credits to purchase, upgrade, retrofit, add ammunition, and consumables for this one vehicle. Ow! Right now, it will sell for 31 mil. Not counting all of this stuff in here. And I can't sell the old ammo either. That's the other part. I can't sell the old ammo that came with it. I'm stuck with this ammo that I have just floating around my inventory. So let's talk. What is this tier 10 monstrosity actually capable of? Why did I choose it over the other vehicles? Well, I'm going to talk about it. But considering how different the other vehicles are, we're going to talk about it not isometrically, but actually looking at them through their upgrades. So this is going to take a little while to go over. Fair warning. So here's the details of the T-14 Armata. Starting against the PL01, which we have to go into upgrades to see. Now the PL01 with improved armor technically has better front hull and... Wait, what? Better front... The light tank has better front hull armor than the T-14. Side armor, however, this thing has better side armor. Not that 200 millimeters with 1.7 times multiplier is really going to stop anything at tier 10. The moment you expose the slightest sliver of your side, you're probably penetrated. Over and over again. Not to mention it's littered with weak spots. And I'm going to go over those as well towards the later part of the review. Penetration-wise, you're not going to come anywhere near it. It has almost 70 more pen than the PL01 fully upgraded. In addition to this, it has a shitload more damage per shot. Now, rounds per minute, yeah, it doesn't quite have that. Its rounds per minute are, what is this? Where do I find your rounds per minute? Anyway, its rounds per minute is pretty low compared to the PL01. The PL01 can get its reload all the way down to about 6 seconds. You're still at 8.68 with the way I have it set up. Health-wise, PL01 is not going to beat you in health. It doesn't have an armor retro. It has the single armor retrofit, but its health is 2,600. Your health with the armor retrofit is 3,400. You're probably going to stay ahead of the light tank here. I'm going to be comparing this to all the other tier 10s, by the way. As far as other characteristics that we can look at here, the PL01 is slower at top speed, but it accelerates much quicker. Better camouflage, better view range, so you will always be outspotted by the PL01. It has better gun depression. It's not as accurate, though, oddly enough. Really weird on that one. It does have better turret and hull traverse, and the PL01 has a ridiculously long aim time, in my opinion. And it's reflected here. But then again, it's a light tank, so it doesn't have quite as long aim time moving. Both have an APS system, so missiles are very, very difficult to get to do much against them. I don't own all of the vehicles yet, so that's why we're having to do it this way, is first compare a couple of upgrades, and then go actually compare the rest of it. Now, I guess the Challenger 2... First off, let's look at, the cannons. You have over 100 more penetration, and with the way I have mine set up, 300 more damage per shot. In addition to this, you have a much higher damage per minute. You also have the flexibility of firing missiles, whereas the Challenger 2 can't do that. Challenger 2, however, has more base hit points than you have upgraded hit points with the way I have it set up. And even if you went with another Universal, the Challenger 2 is still going to have more hit points than you no matter what you do. The Challenger 2 also has thicker front and side armor. Not to mention a ridiculous 2.05 hull modifier. However, what it lacks in other departments, in the damage per minute and absolute penetration department, the Challenger 2 is going to make up for against your, well, health and armor, and that's it. You beat the Challenger in every other category. You have the same view range, you have better camouflage. It has better gun depression, but it doesn't have better gun depression by much, and once it's looking over the side of the tank, the gun actually elevates a little bit. It has better accuracy, but a longer aim time, and a slow as hell turret and hull, especially in comparison to the Armata, and we're going to see some of that. In addition to this, you just flat out knock the poo-poo out of it when you shoot it. So, that's in comparison to the other Shishkin Tier 10 vehicles. What about the Wolfley's Tier 10 vehicles? Let's take a look. I'm not going to compare it to the Sphinx, because the Sphinx is an AFV, and that's an unfair comparison. Because they're two entirely different machines, they work in entirely different ways. In comparison to the Abrams, well, you have a higher alpha and penetration as expected. Not by much on the penetration, but by a lot on the alpha. And even with the Tusk armor package, you still have significant armor. The Abrams has thinner frontal hull armor, but a better hull multiplier. And it has much thinner turret armor. But again, a higher turret multiplier. So it's kind of a mixed bag. The Abrams will have more hit points than you, but it's never going to match your damage per minute just because of the sheer alpha shot that you pack. It also isn't going to match your camouflage rating. This is one of the best. This is probably the best camouflage Tier 10 main battle tank out of the lot. It has better gun depression, better accuracy, a quicker aim time, but a slower turret, and believe it or not, a slower hull. To accelerate so slowly, you actually accelerate better than the other main battle tanks, which means that your hull actually accelerates better than them as well. Flanking you is a pain in the ass. But now let's compare it to the Leopard 2A7 with the 140mm gun. Again, you still have better penetration, massively better alpha damage. But when we compare other details, such as when you put on this armor here, well, the Leopard 2 gets better hull armor, but not a better composite. And its side turret armor is amazing, but again, not a better composite. Its damage per minute will not meet yours under any circumstance. It actually will still have more hit points than you, by the way, once it's upgraded. But it is slightly faster to accelerate. Still, you have the highest top speed, the better camouflage rating. You have the worst gun depression as proven by all these vehicles. You kind of have the second worst accuracy here. And you have the better aim time, though. And the quicker turret. But the Leopard 2 does have the quicker hull once you upgrade all of its additional hull traverse increasing capabilities. So, that's it in comparison to the other Tier 10s. I promised weak points. I'm going to deliver. Weak point, weak point, weak point, weak point. Yeah. The turret ring is actually slightly exposed on the sides of the turret, so unless you're looking directly at your opponent, you have a chance of getting into this turret ring area here. This hatch on the side of the turret is vulnerable, as is this back here on the side of the turret is vulnerable. Up on top of the turret, there's nothing. There's nothing up here to penetrate. The engine deck back here is vulnerable if you're above the tank, as is this back section of the turret. If you're above the tank, you need to be above them. In addition to this, the side of the hull here, this area is a little strong until you blow off the ERA. But this area back here is pretty vulnerable, and this area down here, this side skirt and these tracks areas, are pretty vulnerable, assuming you hit the hull and don't just fire through the tracks. So there you have it. There's the vulnerable points on this vehicle. Numerous. Also, because you're so high off the ground, it's very easy to expose your underbelly, particularly when you're coming up hills. Be very careful about that, or you're going to get shot in the underbelly, and the underbelly is one of the places you're going to get shot in repeatedly in Tier 10 tanks because they're huge. Now, we've said all of this. We've laid the foundational work. The crew. On your driver, smooth ride and spin it to win it. You already have a very high hull traverse, make it even higher. On your gunner, quick draw because you have the best aim time, make it faster. And then on top of that, take your marksman to increase the accuracy when you have full zoom. Because you're going to want to wait and actually let the gun settle before you fire it almost every single time. Ammunition-wise, you want to take almost entirely nothing but sabot. Take about 5 high explosive frag rounds. They're rather useful because of the extreme high fragmentation damage they do, even on a non-penetrating hit. To illustrate how high this really is, the Paladin's HE round is 734 on a penetrating hit. You're 746 on a non-penetrating hit. So sometimes it's useful to fire those frag rounds. It's not useful, however, to bring the frag missiles because they take too long to reload. Instead, bring just the kinetic ATGM tandem heat warhead missile. Which, if you absolutely want to rip somebody a new one and you have the chance and their APS is down, rip them a new one. Rip them a new one. They will be shocked when they get hit with that thing. So, we've guided you into the ammunition. Standard consumable loadout, retrofit loadout that I prefer is alpha damage. Let me say that again for those who didn't hear me. Maximize the amount of damage you do. There we go. You want to get the internal hull reinforcement to maximize your hit points, but personally, just get the experimental propellant and the chrome barrel liner. This thing already has enough penetration. You don't need to enhance its penetration, and you really don't need to enhance its accuracy that much. And the chrome barrel liner gives you the little bit of accuracy you need and even more alpha strike potential. Then get the air induction cleaner to take your already fast hull traverse and make it quicker and increase your acceleration a little bit because you're a little slow to accelerate, and it does help. So there you go. There's all the information, all the basic manual for your T-14. Let's see what it actually looks like in combat. Alright, so here we are with our T-14 Armata. This is my second game in the vehicle, by the way. That's right, I only had to play two games in this vehicle to get this footage. It was surprisingly easy. And apparently we are having a little bit of a frame rate issue that I'm fixing as we go. Where am I? There I am. So here I am in the T-14 Armata. I am playing with Spitfire, aka Sophie, and she's in a PL01. Now, as you can see, we are still having a lot of optimization issues, Obsidian, with the replay system. It's almost to the point that I'm about to stop playing music on my live stream so I can go back to using the live stream itself as the gameplay. Please fix this, Obsidian. Please do what you can and fix this. But in the meantime, let me get as much processing power as I can. I am pushing up on the hill as quick as I can, and I'm going to push straight across. Now, Sophie told me that this was suicidal, and I didn't believe her. So there's a Challenger 2 who doesn't actually notice me yet. Shot him in the side with a sabot round for 1100. That's over a quarter of his hit points just ripped out of him instantly. Now I'm aiming up there for that commander's hatch because I don't really want to have to take the time to aim and let him see my weak spots. As you can also clearly see, I'm not really exposing my hull either, so a lot of those hull-based weak spots aren't coming out. And this guy is just being shot at by me time and time again. Now I get ready to poke out again. Commander's hatch for 1/10 of your hit points. How does that feel? That don't feel good, does it? You backing off now. You had enough. I actually loaded the missile. and thought better of it and backed up and loaded the Sabo back in. Now again, we're still having frame rate issues. I'm probably going to switch back until they fix this. I poke up here, see the T-14 isn't looking at me, and I miss. Just as he turns and slings a shot back in my direction. Wanted to avoid taking any damage there, especially since I knew my underbelly was a little exposed. I really don't have a shot at anything on him. He doesn't have a shot at anything on me, and I know it. But he pokes on out, and then drives straight across, and I see him driving across, and I'm like, you're going to pay for that. Low roll, but still, a low roll for 900 out of 3K? That's a third of his hit points stripped off. I almost got a second shot into him, and then I go, you know what? This Abrams A3 isn't really keen on pushing out against me. I'm going to come up behind this guy. And I was wrong. He actually turned to face me for some reason. And I ended up eating a shell. Now, he only did... Now, that tells me he has the 125. He doesn't have the big 152 that I do. And I'm sorry, you're dead. I quickly turned back, though. Because the PLO-1 tried to come up for a cheap shot. Now I recognize I need to take care of this Abrams. Because they're flanked right now. And I see they're flanked. Look at your mini-map right now. Look at it. Actually, let me move this. Ah, now you guys can see what I'm talking about. They are flanked. I come up here and blast him. And I'm reloading to come up behind this other Abrams. And blow him away too. Great job on the outflanking maneuver, guys. Sorry, I forgot to move the map. My little thing here. Now I see the incoming rounds. I am spotted right now. But I'm driving forward anyway. And hits are bouncing off of me. I see that PLO-1 and I want him. I want him bad. I want to remove him from the battlefield. And I know I can do it. So I throw out smoke so they don't see me coming. He fires at somebody else. And I come flying up and over. Almost kill him. Expose my underbelly and take a hit. But then land on his ass. Goomba stomp style. And just like, bye. Ah, missed the Sphinx by a hair. And it's deadlocked right now. And I see this other PLO-1 crossing, and I aim. And I aim. And he stops just as I fire. Now, he doesn't want to sit here and fight me. And I know it. So I come on up, and I'm hoping this Challenger isn't looking at me. And he's not. But he's dead. I'm assuming the PLO-1 or the T-14 are going to come out at me any second now. Because I'm over here isolated technically, and I know that's a bad thing for me. But I say, you know what? No guts, no glory. Let's commit. Let's help this Leopard 2A7 finish off this Challenger. Ah! Didn't hit where I wanted. Challenger bounces, thankfully. Doesn't kill my friend. And that one did hit right in the rear. Surprise butt sex indeed, sirs. Surprise butt sex. I do declare. Now I'm wondering where the PL went. And where that Sphinx went. But I have no time to wonder about it. Because it's time to go find some other things to blast. As you can see, anyone who's below 1,000 hit points is now vulnerable to this thing killing them. Or below 1,100 if you want to talk average damage. Anyone below 1,100 is now vulnerable to dying by me. That's how I've got it set up. You're below hit points, you gonna die. I see the PLO-1 has moved up here along with the Sphinx. And I'm like, okay, well, I need to go help engage that and hopefully resolve that issue. And I'm driving as fast as I can go. I see the PLO-1. I don't know where the Sphinx is. But I go ahead and commit anyway. Because I need to put pressure and get rid of their chance to move away. And I stop and actually aim the gun, and it misses. That was a full zoom shot. You're going to see several full zoom shots because this is really a point blank range type of gun, and it's just not cooperating with mid to long range shots. Short range shot. Miss. See the Sphinx. Long range shot. Don't know if I was going to hit or not. Know where the PL has gone. He's only got one place he could run to. And the Leopard 2 A7 is going the wrong direction. Literally turned around and went the wrong way. If he would have turned and fought, he could have cut the guy off, and he might still be alive because we would have come up behind him. Now, I'm in a race against time, and I know it, to get in here, and PLO1 gets killed by PLO1. Okay. So what are we going to do for the rest of the match? Well, let's go Sphinx hunting. And I'm speeding it up, and I know the frame rate's a little jittery. But that's because I'm trying to find this Sphinx. I'm going to let my two allies get on cap, defend and support each other, and I'm going to go see if I can flush this guy out wherever he's hiding. Nope. 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 Now he does show up. And gets smacked and finds out the PLO1's front armor is capable of stopping him. And then the Leopard 2 comes up and says, I'm a tier 9. I'm going to take this kill. Nobody argue with me. It's mine. Good job. Little tier 9. Good job. You carried your weight. You punched well above your weight in a tier 10 match. Good job. Now, PvP and the ability to strip a quarter or more of somebody's hit points off is not the entire reason for getting the T-14. The T-14 is not really made for PvP, in my opinion. It's actually made for PvE. Before we go, we're going to take a look at the final stats of both of these at the end. We're going to move all the final stats and everything to the end of the video. You guys will get to see all of it then. We're going to actually look at the PvE match first. Just so you guys can understand just how potent this ridiculous cannon is. Come on.
The BLM took over the castle in a surprise attack.
There we go. Now, I gotta admit that it's really not. It's also kind of funny the PLO1 has brake lights, but that's not the point. Hello, M1A2. I figured I'd try the missile out the gate because I want to get a missile hit in. I really want to get a missile hit in. That was a regular maximum damage roll sabot round. That's a max damage roll. That's not even an ammo rack. That was a max damage roll. You hear the missile loading. And Sophie is all up in my face and all up in my way as I'm trying to get this missile set up. Because I want to get a missile hit in before I just go to silly sabot mode. That's a below average damage hit. That's average damage. Just every time I fire, I'm going to do 1,000 plus. Every single time I fire, I'm doing 1,000 plus damage. There is like nothing that can stand up to this kind of hit. 4-digit damage numbers. This is what you play this thing for. You play this thing to come into PvE mode and go, screw you. And nobody can even argue that you aren't just saying, screw you. Left him on 5 hit points, and the T-90MS is like, I had to fire for 5 hit points of damage? I'm like, yep. You're now just completely outclassed. Ugh. Doesn't always go where it's pointed. Something you have to get used to. But there you go. 4-digit damage number on every penetration. And if you slam him with a missile, you can roll 1700. Or damn close to it with this setup. You don't need extra pen. You really don't need that much extra accuracy. Why not just stack it for sheer screw you? And nobody expects it. No, people honestly come at me with more than 1,000 hit points and then get hit for a 4-digit damage number and go, what just happened? And I'm like, I happened. I can strip off a quarter or more of your hit points every time I fire my gun. Every single time I shoot. No questions asked. And it's going to rack up. It is going to rack up quickly with the sheer amount of damage I'm going to do. Just, I mean, I don't know how to react to this anymore. This is just stupid, to be honest. The cannon just does way too much damage. And it just, you really don't even feel like you want to fire at low health enemies. You want to, you know, hit the guys who have all the hit points and frag something. You all heard that missile, right? I told you you could get close to 1,700 on a missile hit. I wasn't kidding. And that's a low roll. That is a low roll for the missile.
Hang in there, Black Company.
Explosions for reasons. Now, I haven't got a lot of kills. I'll fully admit that. I haven't got a lot of kills, but I haven't been aiming for kills. I've just been setting up all of the kills. I look at something and I'm like, boom! Half or more of its hit points are gone. This is...
Don't let them get their hands on those priceless artifacts.
To say this feels overpowered would be like saying Mario with the Pac-Man power-up, Mega Man's cannon, and while we're at it, just give him his good old-fashioned hammer and a Yoshi. Is not overpowered. This is crazy. I literally can drive up and potentially one-shot a superior artillery piece. No questions asked. And I don't see any sense ever in pulling the trigger on a snapshot. Why? Because why would I? I can just save it for the next guy and blow his freaking head off. Like that. Nearly half the hit points of that tank gone. Low roll, set up for a kill. Dead. Below 1,000, dead. Why? Why would you make this, Obsidian? Why? This is insane. Why does this exist? This is not only insane, it's obscene. I literally feel like I'm kicking puppies. I bounced. That happens from rare time to rare time. That was excessive, but apparently necessary. The total damage I have taken has been self-inflicted on a ram. The computer opponents don't even target me. They shoot at the tier 9s or the PLO-1. Even though I'm up in their face directly, most of the time they don't even target me. Oh look, I took some damage. This is just obscene. Low roll. I'm disappointed he didn't explode. What? I'll leave him for you guys. You guys finish that off. Oh, okay. There we go. I'm going to go shoot at the Terminator because I can. Now, the match is actually almost over because the timer's about to tick down. Hi, Terminator. How are you? Low roll. When 995 is a low roll. Shit.
Good work.
So, we've seen it in action. We've seen the ridiculousness. Let's go take a look at the stats and see just how well I actually did in this vehicle so you guys can understand that I might know what I'm doing. Let's go. So here we have it. This was actually my second match. This was a stock crew in this tank. 6,437 damage, 5 kills, 7 spots, gold star, ace tanker, 284,000, almost 285,000 credits, nicked, and 37,000 experience. I hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tanks. Of the 6 tanks I shot, 5 of them died, and only 1 of the 6 I had to shoot more than once to kill. This guy I rammed. But I shot this guy twice, one of which was just a commander's hatch hit. The rest of it was the single shot. Top XP on the team. Just Sophie did a decent job as well. This PLO-1 did an amazing job, and credit to the tier 9 for sticking it out. 18 shots fired, 13 landed, only 8 pinned. But those 8 pins added up to 5 kills and 6,500 damage. Holy crap. Holy crap. And most of my shots were actually fired on the move, so most of my damage was done while moving. And the armor protection isn't necessarily bad. I received 1,400 damage out of my 3,400 hit points, but I blocked 2,800. As long as you can keep the hull relatively protected, it'll be fine. Also, this off here to the right here means this actually earned my 50th ace tanker. And then if we scroll on back here, we will see... Yeah, so that was my 50th ace tanker. The PvE, Blue Star, Teamwork, Shooter, and I forget what this one is, but basically everybody lived. 28,000 damage! The nearest... I did half. The nearest person to me did half as much damage as I did. You have to combine 2 people to get the damage output of this thing. The hell? That's how destructive it is. And I missed shots. I bounced shots. If I had bounced, I'd have 30,000 damage. To be quite honest, a platoon of 5 of these things would remove virtually any challenge currently in PvE at all. You guys would literally 1-2 punch most of the vehicles out of existence, and the ones you didn't would be a 1-2 and then a knockout blow over and over again. And that still leaves 2 guns to shoot at somebody else to set them up to die or to kill them outright. With 5 vehicles, every volley is destroying 2 tanks. To illustrate how little that is that you need to win it, 15, 20, 29 tanks. At 2 tanks a volley, you need to fire a combined total of 14.5 shots. That means that 3 of you will fire 15 and 2 of you will fire 14 shots. And everything in a PvE match will be destroyed. And Rolling Thunder is known as one of the harder PvE battles you can undertake. And we slaughtered them, and I still goofed off with the missiles. This is downright ridiculous. It's also downright ridiculous that I can, against tier 10 opponents, shred off half his health. Half his health. Over a third of the health of the highest hit point tank in the game. Instantly popped you because you were below 1,000. Instantly popped both of these. They were low hit points anyway. But these two, I mean, ow! That's half his health in 2 shots. That's just under half his health in a shot and a commander's hatch hit. Ow! Just ow! And most other tanks would take at least 5 shots to kill a Challenger 2. You're going to take 3, maybe 4. You're going to take 3 shots to kill yourself. You're going to take 2 to 3 shots to kill a PLO-1. You're going to take 2 shots to kill a Sphinx. Just ow! That's the reason I bought it, was because I wanted to see just how ridiculous everything would get once you went all out. And I went all out with it. So, if you like this video, hit the like button. If you want to see more stuff by me, Fiaura, you can subscribe. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do so through Patreon, or you click on the ad at the end of the video and go check out the video's sponsor. I really would appreciate it if you guys would blow the like button to hell with all of your 52mm cannons. If you don't own one yet, you'll probably want to get one. And if you would like to see another Armored Warfare video by me, here's a VFL Mark V review. Go take a look. You might be interested in purchasing said vehicle. In the meantime, from my house to yours, this is Fiaura, and I'm going to be signing out for right now. And I will hopefully see all of your lovely faces in the next video. Bye-bye, everyone. Push up and fire a blind. I keep backing up. I throw out more smoke. I want to avoid more incoming shots from that T-72 because he does have the pin to just flat out punch me. And I start to turn and go another direction until I realize that my team up top has taken the hint and is pushing up here. And now I can do my job, which is to kill armored fighting vehicles. That is my job in this thing. I slap him. I'm ricocheting round after round. Nothing is penetrating me from these AP rounds from the Bradleys. And I'm moving up so I shield myself from